In this program, we will show you how to do a special technique on how to make your own basket weave patterns. This method is especially helpful when stamping around one or more objects in the center of your project. Here is an example of what you can do by doing your own basket weave. You'll notice here it goes all the way around the name Jill, and everything is perfect. Also here we have a horse's head on the other side, done with a 3D stamp, where we did the same thing. Here's an example of a piece where we did a flower in the corner and then some initials here in the center, and as you'll notice, everything went around here perfectly and everything blended into the basket weave. Also notice it's a little different look to it. We are going to make a checkbook back for our first project, and we will begin by thoroughly dampening our leather with good clean water. Now we will set it aside and allow it to dry until it begins to return to its natural color. The first thing we will do is establish our border, and to do that we'll use a ruler, a tracing stylus, and a wing divider. The first thing I'll do is take my ruler and find the center of the side. I'll put a little mark, and then I will make a mark 1/2 inch on each side of that center mark. And we'll do the same thing over here on the other side. And the two marks. Next, we will use our wing divider, and we'll very carefully put a line on there for our border. In this case, I'm about 1/2 inch in from the edge. As I come down this side, I need to be very careful and not go past where my mark was on the border. And we'll skip and do the same thing now. We will be careful not to go too far into the corner. And again, we'll be very careful to only go as far as that mark. And then the next mark. Now, we can take our ruler and align it on those marks. And with our stylus, we can make a mark for the border that'll be in the center of the checkbook. We'll do the same thing here on the other side. Being very careful to stay on those marks and go from border to border. Now we're ready to cut the borders with our swivel knife. As always, we will strop our knife to make sure the blade is nice and sharp and nice and smooth. And now we can carefully cut the borders. If you need to, use a straight edge to guide your swivel knife. Notice I'm using a straight 3/8 inch blade. This is the best kind of a blade to use when cutting a straight line. Very carefully stay on the lines. And now we are ready to continue. The first thing we need to do is stamp our our initials on there or carve something, or as we did here, put a 3D stamp. Now we're ready to start our basket weave. First, I will take a ruler and see what the distance is from this cut to this cut, and the distance is 2 3/4. Now, if I want to do a square grid on there, I'll just come down here 2 3/4, or if I want to make it a little bit diamond shaped, I'll come say to 3. I'll make a little mark there with my stylus. Come over here and make a little mark on the other side. Now I want to show you something I have here. I have 3 little pieces of cardboard. Now these can be made from cardboard, they can be made from leather, or any other rigid material. And we're going to use these to make our grid. Now I have 1 1/2 inch, 1 5/8 inch, and 1 3/4 inch wide. You can make these as wide or as long as you want. So the first thing I'll do now is take my ruler and I'll make a line from one corner over to my dot. Now be careful not to go on to the alphabet. Now I'll do the same thing in the other direction. Go from the corner over to my mark. Again, being careful not to get on the letters. I have decided to use the 1/2 inch one, so I will now place the 1/2 inch one right on the line. As you can see, I'll take my stylus and draw a line, being careful not to get on to the letters. I'll do the same thing with the next one. Get right on the line and draw. I will continue this all the way down to the other end, being careful not to get on my letters. And now that I've completed these all the way down, I can go in the other direction. Doing the same thing, being careful not to hit any of the letters from my alphabet stamps. Now that I have all my lines drawn, I can take my swivel knife and cut all of the lines very carefully. If you want, you can use a straight edge to guide your knife. Be careful now not to cut on any of the letters. As you come up to the letter, slowly lift out and slowly put it back in on the other side. Lift out, back in. Of course, we'll cut all of the lines going one way, and then we will come back and cut all the lines going in the other direction. And this is how our piece looks after we have done all of the swivel knife cutting.